Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be covering the Sandman. He made his very first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 4, that was released in June of 1963. His real name is actually William Baker, although he's gone by various aliases, with the most well-known alias being Flint Marko. And he's a powerful human mutate that has variable statistics, although he typically stands around 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighs 450 pounds, having brown eyes and brown hair when he's in human form, although his body is made entirely of sand. You see, a freak accident made his body become an amorphous blob of animated sand, with it usually being portrayed that he can consciously mold this sand into any shape he wants, at times even being able to take on a completely human-looking form. And due to his fleshly original body being completely obliterated, he's now considered immortal, with him potentially living for billions of years into the future, also being self-sustaining, never needing food, air, or rest. Now, in addition to his vast shape-shifting abilities, he also has low-level, vast superhuman strength, being able to lift at least 85 tons. Not to mention being able to manipulate the density of his body, which makes his durability nearly off the charts as well, sometimes letting objects go completely through him or being able to become as hard as concrete. This vast durability is also reinforced by the fact that he can reform his body if his sand is dispersed. Also, at times being noted to add surrounding sand to the constituency of his body, allowing him to increase his size to near limitless levels. To go on, Sandman can also generate powerful sand blasts, as well as generate glass itself. Not to mention having so much control over his sand that he can produce sand clones of himself, each one of them being able to act independently. However, it has finally been noted that the Sandman's soul is located in only 1 grain of sand, which is typically located within the main Sandman form that he takes, and it has all of Marko's brain patterns and is responsible for commanding all the other grains of sand that constitute his body. Now, his only weaknesses are obviously water or extreme heat of temperatures over 3,400 degrees Fahrenheit. But other than this, Sandman is a beast. Now, William Baker, better known as Sandman, is a complex character within Marvel. He's often straddled the line between villain and reluctant hero, being driven by a troubled past and a powerful sand-based mutation. And although he's taken part in many different storylines over the years, I'll briefly touch on his origin and some of the major ones. You see, he was born into a harsh New York City neighborhood, with his life being marred by abandonment. His father left when he was just 3 years old, which forced him to navigate a brutal world by himself. Stealing and cheating became his way of survival, which led him down a path of criminality. And although as a teenager he was an exceptional athlete, he'd be expelled for throwing a football game, and it was then that he would embrace his alias Flint Marko, joining a gang that was involved in many different types of extortion. This criminal career would ultimately land him in prison, where years of solitary confinement would fuel his resentment. Now, although there are varying accounts of how he gained his powers, it would seem that the pivotal moment in his life would come when he was attempting to escape from prison with his cellmate named Ox Ford. It was then that Flint would find himself near an experimental nuclear reactor, and this would result in an accident involving falling sand and radiation, which transformed him into the silicon-based creature known as the Sandman. From that point forward, he could manipulate sand at will, morphing his body into various shapes, creating weapons, and even phasing through objects. This newfound power fueled his desire for freedom, and he embarked on a life of even deeper crime, seemingly embracing the fact that he was now a supervillain. However, these super criminal activities would inevitably bring him into conflict with Spider-Man, with their very first clashes establishing Sandman as a formidable opponent. Yet, despite his immense strength and shape-shifting abilities, Spider-Man's agility and strategic use of water often thwarted him. However, a sliver of humanity always seemed to remain within Flint. He wasn't a mindless monster, but a desperate man driven by a thirst for revenge on society, and often a yearning to do right by his daughter, Penny. Matter of fact, one of the turning points in Flint's story came when he learned that his actions were endangering Penny. This guilt fueled a desire for redemption, and he made a deal with Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four, agreeing to help them capture Hydro Man in exchange for a cure. And although the attempt failed, leaving Flint with his powers, he kept that renewed sense of responsibility. But unfortunately, Flint's path to redemption wouldn't be easy, with him joining various supervillain teams over the years. The very first notable occasion being when Dr. Octopus, a notorious Spider-Man foe, would blackmail him into joining the Sinister Six. So being torn between his desire to be a better man and the threats against his daughter, Flint reluctantly agreed. However, during one particular conflict with Spider-Man, he saw an opportunity and turned against his villainous teammates. This act of defiance marked a significant shift, hinting at a potential for heroism within him. From there, his desire for redemption led him to seek a place among the heroes, with him even joining the reserve Avengers for a short period of time. However, his volatile nature and lack of discipline caused friction with Captain America. And it's been noted that he's helped his first enemy, Spider-Man, on several different occasions, often forming a fragile alliance against common enemies. Now, Sandman's story remains one of duality. He's a product of a harsh environment, a man burdened by guilt, and a fierce love for his daughter. His sand-based abilities make him a formidable foe, but his internal struggle between villain and hero is his most defining characteristic, meaning that he's never fully become a savage. Now, whether he fully embraces redemption or remains a wild card in the Marvel Universe is a question that continues to intrigue. The core elements of Sandman's story remain mostly consistent across most Marvel comics. However, there are some alternate realities that offer intriguing twists. For example, in the Ultimate Universe, Flint is a ruthless criminal with no redeeming qualities at all. While in another reality, he becomes a member of the Fantastic Four, showcasing a more heroic path. These alternate versions have often highlighted the potential for Flint's character to evolve in various directions. So William Baker, aka Flint Marko, aka the Sandman, is a compelling character whose story is far from over. And interestingly, his sand-like nature reflects the ever-shifting nature of his morality itself, leaving all of us always wondering if he'll ever ultimately find redemption or finally succumb to the darkness within him. Now, for his powers and abilities and his significant influence on the Marvel Universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give the Sandman a rating of 9, which is an epic rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.